Are you sure everyone can actually read your posts or watch your videos or access the digital content you're providing? Inaccessible content is more than just a minor inconvenience. It's a barrier that can exclude millions of people from your message, your product, or your service. It can lead to a poor user experience, legal risks, and a massive missed opportunity to connect with a wider audience. Today, I want to talk about something incredibly important for all of us in education: digital accessibility. Specifically, we'll be looking at the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG 2.1 AA standards, and what they mean for you. First, let's talk about the why. According to the US Census Bureau, more than 1 in 4 people in the United States has a disability. These disabilities aren't always visible, but every single one of those individuals has the same right to information as anybody else. Let's watch a short video on the why.
Imagine if 90% of the websites or mobile apps you use today locked you out. Everyone else continues to experience the convenience of mobile banking, the connectedness of social media, and the freedom of online shopping. But for you, they're inaccessible. For the 57 million people with disabilities in the United States, this is their everyday experience. People with visual, auditory, motor, speech, and cognitive disabilities rely on various assistive technologies and alternate methods of interaction to use digital documents, web, and mobile apps. People with visual disabilities may rely on screen readers, braille displays, zoom functions, or high-contrast colors to get value from what's displayed on screen. People with auditory disabilities often rely on captions or transcripts for video content. People with motor disabilities might require speech-to-text software or keyboard-only interactions. People with speech disabilities require a non-vocal means of interaction. And finally, people with cognitive disabilities often require thoughtful and organized layouts with clear direction. Digital accessibility is the practice of making digital documents, web, and mobile apps accessible to everyone, including people with disabilities. Accessible sites and apps are perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. Building accessible sites or apps can be tricky without the right guidance. The Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG, published by the W3C, is the standard rule set that defines what makes a site accessible. Developers, testers, app owners, and accessibility experts from around the world rely on these standards for proper accessibility testing direction. In fact,
This isn't just an ethical responsibility, it's also a legal one. In April of 2024, the Department of Justice updated the rules for Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act. This new rule requires all public schools to make their websites, apps, and digital content accessible to students with disabilities. For schools in areas with a population over 50,000, the deadline to comply is April 24th of 2026. For all those schools with a population of under 50,000, the deadline is April 26th of 2027. So this affects anyone who posts digital content on social media, on your school's website, or your learning management system. So what is accessibility? Put simply, it means a person with a disability can acquire the same information, engage in the same interactions, and enjoy the same services as a person without a disability with a similar ease of use. It's about creating an inclusive digital space for everyone. The WCAG standards are built on 4 key principles, which you can remember with the acronym POUR. Perceivable, users must be able to perceive the content in some form. Operable, users must be able to navigate and interact with the content. Understandable, the content should be clear, simple, and easy to comprehend. And robust, the content needs to work reliably across different devices and with assistive technologies like screen readers. So perceivable content, you can start making your content more accessible by using text alternatives, paying attention to your color contrast, utilizing captions and subtitles, and paying attention to your font size and style. Use alt text. Always add a brief descriptive text for any images you post. This allows screen readers to describe the image to visually impaired users. Check your color contrast. Make sure your text color stands out clearly from the background color. If it's hard to read, the contrast is too low. Caption your videos. Add captions and provide transcripts for any video or audio content. And use clear fonts. Stick to sans serif fonts. Use a minimum of 12-point font for documents, 14-point for websites, and 18 points for slideshows. For operable content, make sure that your content is keyboard accessible. If there are any timed events, make sure you extend those events to provide sufficient time for users to interact. Avoid any content that may trigger seizures, and make sure the navigation is clear and easy to understand. So what this looks like for you right now is to make sure your content is screen reader friendly. Use headings, meaningful links, and logical structure. Avoid flashy content and autoplay. Avoid cited cues. If your navigation relies on users to say, click on the red heart, that can be very difficult for non-sighted people to locate on your screen. And use descriptive hyperlinks. Avoid labeling links, click here. The link should name where it's pointing the user towards. For understandability, make sure that the content is predictable, clear, and instructive. This means use plain language. Write for your audience. Use simple words and sentences, and use positive language. Also, be careful of your emoji use. Do not overuse your emojis. If you type 14 laughing faces in a row, the screen reader will read laughing face, laughing face, laughing face 14 times. So just be aware. The last principle is robust, and this typically has to do with the website or the app developer and is not a standard that you most likely will need to address. But this just ensures that the content reads the same on any device. To help you design your content, here are a couple Chrome extensions that you can download and use. Accessible Web or Equal Web. You can use these extensions to evaluate the accessibility of your documents or your websites. Remember, making our digital world accessible is essential for creating an equitable learning environment for all. It's a legal mandate, but more importantly, it's the right thing to do. If you'd like to learn more, a great resource is the How to Meet WCAG Quick Reference Guide. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact myself, Jenny Geyer, or Lori Biesecker, and we'd be happy to answer your questions. Thank you for listening.